Hey folks, welcome back to our channel. My name is Nigel and this is Offgrid Van Life, where we look at van conversions, Offgrid Power, lithium iron phosphate batteries and everything in between. Basically, we want to help you to be able to convert out a van, build out an awesome electrical system, hit the road and find adventure. In this video, we're going to be continuing the series of building out this van behind me. So this is our Nissan NV400, making it into a two-person camper van and going to be fully off-grid, self-contained with a shower, toilet, full kitchen, water system, an epic electrical system. It's going to be pretty sweet. So if you've been following this series, had a bit of hassle with some of the installation. A couple of videos ago, I talk you through some of the stuff that I'm going to be changing. So changed my mind on the type of spray insulation foam that I'm using, and I've ordered something different. However, the drama continues because I am really battling with UPS and getting my product here. So I've been waiting for nearly 10 days now, just literally to ship the product from England to Northern Ireland, but it's looking like I'm not going to have it in time to put it in for this video this week, but we're going to crack on with other stuff that we need to do on the van in the meantime. So the plywood panels that I'm going to be putting into the van, I'm wrapping them with a material just to give it a nice look, make it look a bit different, and also just get away from that sort of log cabin vibe that a lot of vans have. So I'd rather have something a little bit more sort of beige, sort of Scandinavian looking, because I'm going to be building out the cabinetry with plywood, so kind of going for that minimalist sort of look in that regard. But I need a way of fixing the panels onto the roof. Now the walls, I'm actually just going to fix them directly onto the metalwork using self-tapping screws. And main reason for that is just the simplicity. Second reason is that I can then don't lose space within the van by having battening. So even though the battening might only be sort of 20 mil or thereabouts, it all just does add up and makes it a smaller space. And equally with the roof, I'd initially thought of just putting it straight onto the roof, but when I looked at it, it's going to be a little bit easier if I put it onto some woodwork. And so what I'm going to do there is, instead of using battening, I'm actually just going to use plywood, and I'm going to use thin plywood. I'm going to use 9mm plywood, and that will be plenty strong enough to hold the panels up that I use, because the plywood that I'm going to be putting onto the roof is actually only going to be 4 or 6 mil. I'm not sure exactly which size yet, I haven't got there yet, but it'll be 4 or 6 mil. So having strips of ply that I can then screw into with the roof panels is going to be the easiest way around that. So that's what I'm going to start with installing, and then we're going to get on with other bits and pieces. So framing out the windows, framing out the wheel arches, so that when the expanding foam arrives at the end of this week or next week, if it ever arrives, then I can just get after spraying it. And then obviously I just need to prepare things, so like cover the windows, cover the cab area, all that sort of stuff, so that we don't get overspray from the foam. But yeah, we're going to crack on with that and see how we get on. thing on it. Okay. Okay folks, so this is where we've got to so far. So this is just 9mm ply that we put onto these support pillars going across there. And the idea is that this will essentially form what would be battening. So we can put our roof panels straight into this. This is solid, not going anywhere. I'm pretty happy with that. And the advantage of ply is that it bows with the frame. So you don't have this rigid piece of timber, and then it also just makes these a little bit closer. So when it comes to actually paneling out the roof, because I'm using just 4 or 6mm ply, I haven't decided yet, but I'm pretty confident that it'll make that bend quite nicely. And when it's wrapped with the material, I think it'll look really good. And then if we go across to here, I have glued the frame around the top of the skylight here, put that in. So I've just put 4 screws in just to hold it, just basically sandwiching it between the 2 sides of the skylight. And then I attach these bits of battening here, and the idea is that my ply ceiling will slot in between those there nicely. So I'll probably have to loosen these screws just to get the ply in there, but it'll slot in nicely, be hidden all the way around there. And then obviously when you put the fascia cover on there that has the roller blinds and stuff, it's going to be looking pretty good. Still need to frame out this window, but I've run out of battening and timber to do that. And then this is what these windows are looking like. If there's anything on this van that I actually regret putting it in, is these windows. They are a bit of a pain to get in. So yeah, this is what I have come up with as what I think will be the best way of framing these out. So it looks quite messy now, because obviously one of the things that I didn't think of when I installed the windows, but which is worth noting, is I put it too close to the support structure here, and I didn't want to take that support structure out, because then it would make this whole thing quite flimsy. So as it is, I left the bottom one in there, and it's attached all the way up to where I cut there. But I didn't want to take this out, and in hindsight I should have shifted the window back about 2 or 3 inches, so I had enough space here to be able to frame it out nicely. As it is, I've framed it just over the top of that, and all I've done is I've glued this battening on using Sikaflex. Now I'm if you've been following me on this channel for a good length of time, you'll know that I'm a big fan of Sikaflex. It'll hold just about anything to anything. And so I'm pretty confident that once this is all framed out, built out, this is going to be pretty strong and solid here. And the nice thing with Sikaflex is that it is relatively flexible, so it'll add some flex. So as the panel flexes, etc. It'll be pretty good. Once I get the expanding spray foam on here, it'll also add some structure. This is just going to be super fiddly to actually frame out and get it looking nice, but I'm not sure that there is, I mean, I've looked at a bunch of options of how people have framed these windows out, and it's just a fiddly thing that just takes time if you want to get it looking good. But essentially I'm going to be cutting little strips of ply that will sit flush in there pretty much to the edge of this black thing here, so it'll cover the Sikaflex that's come out there. And then obviously that ply is going to be wrapped with the same material that all of the other paneling is wrapped with, so that's going to be very fiddly. But once I've got that in there nicely and have probably a piece coming up along here screwing into that, and the same for the top here, kind of at an angle like that, it'll be a bit of a triangle type thing cut in across these. So there'll be slight gaps, but it's the trouble with these sort of windows is that they're not that easy to frame. And watch this space, and I will keep you guys posted on how this all looks once it's done. And then lastly, we got these the frames in for our wheel arches, and so I just wanted to get these in because I'm going to be spraying the spray foam insulation over the wheel arches as well, then box these in nicely. And these are obviously substantial, as I've mentioned before. This side here is where I'm going to put the battery on top of that, so I'm pretty confident that it'll take its weight and be pretty solid. And then all of my electrical components are going up here, so charger, fuse blocks, all that sort of stuff is going up there. Okay folks, there's where I'm going to leave it for this week's video. My spray foam has still not arrived, so I'm quite disappointed about that, but I'm just running out of time this week to get all of this done. We're actually going away for a week in our camper van, so I will be obviously vlogging that. We got a lot of feedback on the last vlog that we did when we did a little bit of the west coast of Ireland. This time we're going into Europe, and I'll keep you posted on that. I'm not going to spill the beans on what we're doing or where we're going, but I'll obviously vlog it and keep you guys posted on that. And hopefully there'll be some interesting information and some stuff that I'll be able to help other people with, because I think it's a pretty common thing, especially people with families, what they want to do. So I'll keep you in suspense about where we're going on that. But yeah, when I come back from where we are going, I'm going to be cracking on with this build, and by then my spray foam should have arrived, and I'll be able to crack on with that. So as soon as I get back, we'll be putting up sheets, closing out the windows so they don't get any overspray or anything like that, and cracking on with the insulation so we can get this build moving along. But yeah, I hope you've got something out of this video, and yeah, leave me some comments down below if you have any suggestions or questions or anything else. And as always, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Cheers.